Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coming Into Being as I send out my little welcome message here in the chat. Good to see you. This is your time to take a step back from a busy day, from whatever you're doing, or maybe a busy morning and you're getting ready for the day, and just to come into that centering for yourself. Oh, Sydney popped in right away there. Hello, Sydney. Good to see you. And take that time to just reconnect with yourself, because when you do that, you can move through anything else that you do that comes after this, no matter what it is, with more fullness, more of you, more present in yourself, and things have a tendency to go a lot more smoothly when we do so. So if you need a cup of water, like I do, have one with you. And basically, it's your time to just chill and really just connect in. There's nothing else to do except connect with ourselves. Now, a lot of stuff will get in the way when we connect with ourselves, so we'll get into that as we move through this. So let's take a nice deep breath in, and then just let it out with a big sigh. Letting everything go. Letting yourself settle into your chest, and being aware of your breath. And Asta, hello Asta. And if you're on YouTube, do feel free and say hello. I can see the people on Instagram, but not on YouTube unless you say hello. That's up to you. So letting yourself settle into your awareness in your chest, and just becoming aware of your breath, nothing else. And just notice where your breath is right now. Does it feel a little tight? Does it feel a little shallow? The two would go together, or feel like you're more breathing up here than really the fullness of your lungs? And just notice, don't worry about, oh, I got to switch that. I'm not doing it right. Don't just put all of that aside. Just be aware, just notice. Hey, Lydia, good to see you. Just becoming aware of what it's doing. What is your body doing right now, just around the breath? And Earth Dancer, hello, welcome. We're just paying attention to the breath. And see if you can notice, the front. We usually have a tendency to focus on the front. Notice the back side too, and notice like underneath the arms, the sides, the ribs on the sides, because the ribs go all the way around, right? And is it a little bit more challenging to breathe in, or maybe a little bit more challenging to breathe out? People with stress, with anxiety, with PTSD will probably have a harder time exhaling out. Or it could be exhaling in as well. But if you're somebody who grew up with stress, for example, and maybe you were in an environment where you were walking on eggshells, and you might find that there's a little bit of like holding that happens at the top of the breath, so you're not really just releasing it out. It's not just going out by itself. And it's maybe a little staccato on the way out. Kind of staccato feeling where you're not really relaxed. So there's probably tension up in here, and even muscular tension up in here. So take a moment to just, move your shoulders up and down, hold them, let them drop forward and back, and then settle in again. And maybe it's just the stress from the day. Yes, so often I have to remind myself I'm holding my breath and I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, you can do that in the moment, and then maybe you're at work or something, and you're just like, okay, we can let that go right now, so that's good. Kind of retrain yourself, and then on your own, when you have that space on your own, is to just let yourself kind of go into that. Uh, what is that stress about? What's that tension about? What are you holding your breath about? What was that environment like? And maybe it'll come up for you right now as we do that. So if you're by yourself, take that time to just go a little deeper, feel into that breath. So how do we do that? Is like first, come into that awareness of the breath. Notice what the breath is doing. So here we have somebody says, yeah, kind of holding my breath at the top. So that's typical. I think a lot of people do that. A lot of just with stress, and a lot of different kinds of stress, And just notice where the tension is. As you notice your breath, as your awareness is mostly on your breath, just start kind of with your peripheral awareness. So your awareness is on one thing, but you're kind of noticing what's happening around that one thing. It's like when you're driving, you're looking at the road, but you're also aware of 180 degrees there of what's going on, or almost 180, maybe not quite, but you get the picture. And just notice that where the tension is. Could be in the chest, it could be somewhere else. Or maybe there's part of it is in the chest. Start with that. Start with what you're noticing the most. Maybe it's going up in the throat. Yeah, so what's coming up is the sense of being, I want to say tact, or assaulted. I can't think of the word in English. Agression in French, but where it's Carolina, hello, good to see you. So it's almost like this getting pushed back against the wall kind of feeling, and not feeling like you can't protect yourself. That's what's coming up. Or maybe there's been holding down, like from saying what you wanted to say. So that's gonna tighten the throat here. And that's gonna push everything down. So it's sort of like putting a cap on that. And so if you're putting a cap on that, then you don't have that freedom to just expand and relax and be relaxed. So it might go up into the jaws also. So just notice, just be aware of the tension, wherever it's coming up for you. Back of the neck, maybe the jaw. Are you somebody who clenches their jaw? It's like something wants to come up and be expressed, and there's this really holding back. And so you start fighting down to just keep from saying it and holding back. And just kind of remind yourself, it's like, okay, we can let go a little bit more. And let go a little bit more. Just telling your muscles, focusing on the muscles, on the nervous system, to just kind of, okay, we can relax now. We're not there anymore. We're not in that situation. We're right here, right now. You can open up your eyes, look at your environment. Remind yourself that you're right here, right now. And if you're coming in the being, you are probably not in a danger situation. And if you are, well, maybe this will help you get through to help you stay calm. But mostly you're just going to be So to bring back that point that you're here now, you're not in the original situation. And reminding yourself of that. It's like, no, look, we're right here, right now. It's not here. We can relax now. We can let it go. There's a bit of emotion that's coming up that is probably more internal. So if you feel like just letting it go a little bit, if you're by yourself and you feel you're in a place where you can just allow that to come through, even if it's a little bit of a sound, that's fine. Just to help get that release going for you. And you can start with just the breath, just like take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, you just make any kind of sound, no matter how soft. Even if it's just the sound of the breath going out. And see if you can make it a little louder each time. If you can actually vocalize it, let the vocal cords engage so that there's sound instead of just the wind, the air going through. And you may notice kind of when you start doing that maybe there's a little shaking that happens, vibration that's going through. And as that vibration goes through from whatever level of sound you can allow yourself to make where you are, it's like starting at the core, and then there's this vibration that is getting sent out. Again, it's not a question about how loud it is, but you most likely will, it will be beneficial to kind of make that a little bit louder and louder and grow in the loudness. But it sends out this vibration, so it's like a jackhammer kind of thing, and you've got that core point where that's being generated from, that sound, and it's just going out. So just that ripple going out, and as it goes through, it's hitting all those blocks, all those stuck energies, and just going to. So you might feel, a little bit of shaking, a little bit of vibration. It's kind of like, when you're holding something really tight, you could be holding something up for a long time, like just a weight, hold a weight, and you're holding, and you keep holding, and it gets to a point where the muscles are basically what's happening they start to vibrate, and you kind of start to shake because the muscles are firing, and the nervous system is causing that trembling. So it's like the muscles are letting go, tightening up, letting go, tightening up, letting go, tightening up. So it's that trembling, just kind of breathe into that. Just letting it release. Yeah. You might feel tension. It might feel like cement in an area. It's really coming up to the throat for a lot of people, or kind of moving up from the chest to the throat. So that seems to be a key area. And if your reaction was, well, I don't feel anything, that's not me, take a deep breath into that and sit with that. So it's like, just go a little deeper. Basically, if we go, oh, that's not me, or either both of those. So it's not me. If you have this reaction of saying, that's not me, or you have a reaction that says, oh my God, that is so me. In both cases, it's you. there's something there for you. So you got to pay attention to both of those. It's a little bit harder when you say, oh, no, that's not me. You've got an identification about being a certain way and not seeing yourself the way you are really is in the moment, at least, So take a step back and says, well, wait a minute. Okay, let's learn from this. It's not about doing anything wrong or being off or being screwed up. It's just a question of, it's like, well, wait a minute. It's not, maybe there's something a little stuck here. Let's go in. Let's take a look at what that resistance is. And some of you might feel like you've got, it almost feels like collars with the spikes turned in. Not pleasant. Not pleasant at all, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is going really deep for some of you people. This is there's a slavery piece that's coming through of maybe in another lifetime, or Sydney, I think this might be connected to you. In a family line. Wow. A lot of guilt, a lot of carrying the burdens of those who were made to suffer through guilt. That, if that rings a bell. And if that doesn't hit the nail on the head, yeah, good, because that means it's coming through and we're just going to let go. Now, for everybody else, that might not be directly related to you or to your family line or to any past lives. However, it relates to you because you're part of the human collective. And everything that has been done to another human being is in our psyche at some level. We might not be able to access it. We might not need to access it. But if you're here on this call and this is coming up, and it's coming up real strongly for Sydney and her family history, then there's a part of you that it's registering for a part of you somewhere deep. So that little component of the collective that is in you. So let's all breathe into that piece. And you can imagine it like like a little dot. Just imagine a little dot, whatever color you want to make it. And take a deep breath in and look at that dot being that piece of carrying the suffering of others, or slavery, and around slavery, God, we still have slaves in modern day, so it's still hitting us. And just kind of put it in front of you, kind of see it, hold it gently, just in your mind. Catholicism instantly pops up. Actually, there's a lot of religions, but Protestants come up pretty strongly here right now with this. Since you bring up the Catholics, there's the Catholic guilt. They're really good. The Catholics are very good at the guilt thing, along with the Jews. But they're not the only ones, And it's like it takes a different flavor. So it's it ties in, of course. Now we're getting into the religious component here of that you've sinned, you will not go to heaven, you need to be redeemed. Yeah, So we're really diving into some deep stuff, because what happens is that with the Protestants, there's certain flavors of Protestantism where the born again. Well, I've been born again, so I can do whatever I want, because since I am born again, I will be going to heaven no matter what. It's like, what kind of bullshit is this? Oh, well, I'm a born again. I just went through, and literally, I know people have said this. They go through their being born again, the church and all that, and literally have said, I can do whatever because I will still go to heaven because I'm born again. Bullshit. You will still be facing what you've done. Now, how you face that has different flavors in different religions, right? But if you, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So let's take a nice deep breath into that. Hold that breath in your throat with your awareness in your throat, and bring that breath really just expanding into the throat area. And then on the exhale, just expanding that out. And then that was a pretty heavy one. So let's drop down to the core of the earth. New earth grid, the core of the earth. I'll say earth, but remember, it's the new earth that's coming in, the new consciousness. And yeah, dropping down. Let yourself just drop down deep. Yeah, there we go. It's good to take a come into this place, this depth. And letting it all wash away. Coming into that depth of it, of existence, the earth. And the more we go forward into this new consciousness, the less we'll be able to get away with that stuff. In fact, we won't be able to get away with it. It will just sink you. So those beliefs you have about getting away with it, not saying anybody here does, but since that kind of came up, you won't get away with it anymore. Full transparency. And not a one-way street. We've had the supposed transparency going on for a while, but it's only been one way. It's not been both ways, except in certain cases, like with Snowden revealing stuff. It's like, well, no, it's like we can't reveal that stuff. It's like, that's the one-way street. No, it's gonna be both ways. It's gonna be just out there. You won't be able to deny it. So there's no more getting away with this kind of logic. Either you're clean or you're not. And the way to be clean is just to be in that awareness of what is, what you're doing. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, why am I doing this? Why is this coming up? What am I trying to do? Am I trying to control? Am I trying to just be in control? Because getting away with something is about being in control of the image that you have, that you're showing, you are putting out there. So let's take a nice deep breath in from the core of the earth. It's kind of deep today. Heavy stuff. Filling up with those refreshing frequencies. Yeah, there we go. And on the exhale, just exhaling the stuff out. So earlier, yeah, we're coming back. We're going to come back to that as we do that. So just with every exhale, just you can breathe out normally through your nose, or you can breathe out through your mouth and just kind of emphasize it and just letting go of all that excess baggage you don't need. And so earlier I was bringing up that piece about slavery. And associated with that, just a little piece that had come up about carrying that burden of the suffering of others. That's actually a type of slavery, right? You're putting yourself into a position of slavery. That holding on to that burden is basically that chaining yourself up. So, just kind of bring up a shape in front of you. Make it whatever color feels right for what we're working with here. And just breathe in from the core of the earth, from the center, filling up, coming into your core, holding that core really strongly, and then just being present with that and holding it. There's nothing to be afraid of here. Putting that shape out there, and then just with every exhale, just having it move a little further back from you, a little further back. Or slowly moving back away from you and kind of dissolving, softening, dissolving. Taking another deep breath from the core of the earth. So cycling like on the in-breath, pulling up from the core of the earth, and on the out-breath, just it's like you're blowing it away, dissolving it, and moving it out away from you. Yeah. It's actually pulling off a pretty good layer off the group here, so that's good. There we go. Yeah. So everybody should feel that lightening up happening. This is a pretty interesting, clearing we're doing here. Never know where we're going to go on these, right? Kind of go on these deep journeys. Sometimes it's just this very deep rest, but today was just this good clearing. Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. That was much needed. slimy brown and green with all sorts of yucky stuff in there. That's almost literally how I see it. So yeah, really good. Keep doing the breath, breathing in from the core of the earth, up that core channel, and then on the exhale, and you can see kind of expel. Hopefully that dot is like out of the way for you, but also exhaling out in all directions from that core. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, some of you are standing very strongly, even say no as you're facing off with this thing. It's like, good. Good for you, yeah. Huh. Oh, yeah, very nice. Let's do it a little bit longer. There's such a dense layer that we pulled off here that let's do it for a little bit longer to really clear that farther away than we might normally feel the need to. Ah, yeah. That bright light coming in. Nice release. Very good. Very good work there, everybody. Very nice. Just with your awareness on your breath. So go back to just being aware of your normal breath. Just allow yourself to feel that stillness. That calm, that stillness. Yeah. Just let yourself kind of ease into that even more, melt into that stillness, that calm. You've just all stepped into a little higher level of purity there. So really good. And moving into that sparkly sky, sparkly cosmos. This is very nice. Very, very beautiful. Yeah. Good call. Good call for bringing that up today. Yeah. And just allow yourself to feel that lightness of being in this moment. If you got questions coming to mind, just notice that and take a breath, then come back and really just take this moment, because this is a really nice space. Allow yourself to just feel that openness, that state of being within yourself, lining up with the cosmos, lining up with the whole of existence in a deeper state of purity for yourself, right here, right now. Yeah, very nice. Feel again that connection to the earth. Just there's that plumb line that's going straight through you and straight into the core of the earth. And we'll send it up also. Yeah, there we go. Some of you are a little bit, so let's straighten everybody out here. That means you have a little bit of a distorted view about heaven. That's pulling, skewing you off your line, basically. So, there we go. You may not be able to hold that. And if you find that you are getting skewed off that alignment, then you need to ask yourself what you're holding on to in your beliefs about God, about existence, about yourself. That's pulling you off. I think everybody here, generally speaking, as we've worked on it more also, but a little bit more comfortable, more at ease with the earth, a lot more work that's usually done. Well, connect into the earth and connect into the earth. You know, it's like, let's get grounded. So all that kind of brings our attention down in that direction a lot more. But there's that upward direction also. And it's not about you moving up. It's just about having that. So right now, this plumb line that actually needs to be going in both directions for you to be anchored. But there's a lot of misbeliefs around God. People will use that term a lot. Around spirituality. Around the sense that an individual has relative to God, especially God, and quote unquote. And that is what skews us. So that's another piece to start kind of looking at that for yourself. You know, and just asking the question, you know, it's like, where am I off in my relationship to, in my beliefs? And there's the piece about God. So there's a lot of that gets done. It's like my belief about God, my belief about, you know, existence, my belief about that. But there's a lot less that gets done about what is my relationship to that? How do I see myself in relative to that? That's the relationship piece. How do I view myself in this context? That's the relational piece. It's real important to look at. So there's that skew. Okay, that was good, everybody. That was a really good one to bring up. So thank you for that. And as we chat, I'm just going to pull up my value donation QR code there for you on YouTube. Everything you can literally start questioning, asking questions about literally everything. And if you think that you're on target about something, ask a question about what you think you're on target, because everything needs to be brought up. Everything needs to be looked at. Everything is getting purified. And if it's not getting purified, it's just going to sink. So really good job, everybody. So take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and just release it. Now let yourself come back into just being aware of your breath. Letting yourself relax a little bit more. Thank you, Asta. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for being part of this too. Letting yourself just relax a little bit more, just to bring all this to completion. Yeah, I think so. So with Asta's bringing up a point here, you know, I'm seeing kind of the quote unquote slavery piece. So this is kind of expanding that definition of slavery. But yeah, so you'll see that family thing with you for that slavery piece. And so each of us really has some format. What is slavery? So slavery is not owning yourself, is having something external to you dictate the conditions, what you can or cannot do. There was a really good thing. Let's see, God, if I can say it correctly, because it pertains to this. So it was there's a man who channels this entity called Bashar, and you can look him up on YouTube. He's got a lot of stuff out there if you haven't heard of him, Bashar. And he was explaining AI. You know, there's two different directions that AI is kind of in the process of going with AI. And one is that it's this tool that gets created, and it just is, you know, it's got a task that this automation basically of doing this task. So that's what he identified as a tool. And then he says there's the other part where you create a tool to do a particular job. You know, like a hammer is a tool. It's got a particular job. You use a hammer for one thing. You don't use it where you would use a wrench. So it's got a particular job. So AI in that case. But when you start to give it a consciousness, then you're creating basically you're creating a class of slaves. So a new class of slaves, because you're saying, okay, this is what you have to do, but we're going to give you consciousness to think and analyze and do that, but you have to stay in these parameters. And that's basically slavery. So I thought that was a really interesting point. So getting back to our slavery piece that has come up here, taking a look at that for yourself. And in what ways in your life are there still those remnants of And it's okay, you know, it's all right if you've got those remnants. So don't think, oh my God, I'm not, you know, that's not it. That's not the point. The point is like take a look at where it's still there. It's still it's there's still little pieces to just dissolve for yourself and clean up. And that's good. And then you moved yourself up, you move up the collective a little bit more. So okay, there we go, you guys. Good, really good session. Really, really good session. Very deep. And a lot of clearing for all of us. So, a lot of ways. Is there anything else I need to say? Hey, nope. Really needed this. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And you were the instigator here, so so thanks for that, Sydney. You helped bring that forward in all of us in a deep way. So, and everybody for being here and participating. You're all part of this as well. So really contributing. So thank you all for that. We'll be back next Wednesday and come back. Stop by again if you want. It's always nice to see people pop in, and sometimes new faces show up again, so that's always fun. And faces who haven't been here for a while come up too, so it's always a pleasure. So we'll see you around. Have a good rest of your week, and see you next week if you show up or somewhere else in the ethers in the meantime. All right, take care, everybody.